Welcome to Dew Champions.
Listen up. All you ever asked for is an opportunity. You got it today. Where else would you rather be than right here, right now?
Yeah!
Come on with it, baby!
Yeah!
And an uncontrolled outpouring of just young people.
1, 2, 3. Yeah.
Cullen with the sharp insight. Randall Slifer scheming chess moves all night. Alex, Miley, big dumb animal roar. Smashing hot takes through the studio door. Stats get funky, narratives get thrown. Dude champions, media, Buffalo combat zone. Buffalo combat zone. Be there, crowd chant, let's go Buffalo.
For the best Italian food in Western New York, Elliot Apollos, call 716-825-3675. The Lardon Construction Group.
Fubo TV, the official streaming service of Dew Champions. FanDuel, the official sportsbook of Dew Champions.
For all your summertime needs, beauty pools, as well as kayak pools.
CX Chronicles, your total customer solutions focused manager. W.GG, the official energy drink of Dew Champions.
Hey, Sons of Erie, our artwork looks better on your walls. Hamburg Brewing, please visit our tap room on Boston State Road, Hamburg, New York. And finally,
Fat Boy Surf Club for all your surfing needs.
Dude, I think our intro is like a Jersey Shore kind of vibe to it, huh?
I like it.
If you're listening
I like
to
it
this,
too.
if
But
you're
don't say
listening
that
to
out
this,
loud.
yeah, if you're listening to this on iTunes, you won't see that. But if you watch on YouTube, you can tell. Hey, can one of y'all share this, by the way? Welcome back to the Buffalo Combat Zone. We are Alex, Miley, and Randall. Please like, share, subscribe. What's up, fellas?
What's going on? Combine week.
Man. Yeah, the
USA men's won gold yesterday.
Yeah. Let's include the women. We went 2 for 2.
And the women won on, what was it, Thursday?
Yep.
They capped off a dominating run, allowing 2 goals in 7 games is insane.
Insane.
The greatest golden goal, I think, of all time. Also insane.
Oh my God, no kidding.
With Megan Keller, that was filthy. And Canadian tears are the best part about it. They're coping so hard, and it's awesome.
Hey, can you guys tell between my mic with this and then my mic when it sounds like this? Is there a difference?
Nope.
Between
I
that and that?
didn't hear it. No.
Not change it over again. Is it fine? Okay, just making sure.
Yeah, man, Canadians are being like violently rude. It is a little surprising. It is a little
I'm not
surprising
saying
how
U.S.
fast
are being saints about it. There are definitely some crazy Americans. I'm not
Hey,
not condoning all the behavior, but Canada is definitely not being righteous about it.
It's what we felt like when the Patriots kept winning and we kept losing for 20 years, you know?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Because they really have, I mean, I guess not that. It's more of a like, okay, maybe like the way we feel when the Patriots won the division against us. You know what I mean?
Yeah, that's exactly it.
Like,
that's exactly it.
Like they just expect to win, and then when they don't, it becomes this big like thing, you know, because it's their sport and everything else. And we don't really care about hockey at all. We just win still. Like we don't. Yeah. We still have the best professional league in the world. It's our league we involve.
Yeah, we just
Canada,
won gold at our 4th best sport.
Yeah.
Yeah.
But yeah, if you can share it, for some reason I can't share this on Twitter right now. I don't know why the live feed isn't popping up for me the same way it used to on Dew Champions. So if you can do that, Randall and Miley, that'd be great.
I sent one over.
Did you?
Yeah,
okay,
we're
cool.
retweeting.
You did it last. You did it last time for whatever reason it wouldn't. Oh, now I can see it. So whatever, I'll do it here in a second as well.
Twitter
all right,
and StreamYard shambles.
Yeah, so let's talk. It's Combine Week. What I want to do is kind of give us a layout, and then we'll move from there. We'll go over, what our thoughts are on the Combine. I think first, just to figure out what if we think it's important. We probably have different levels of value that we put on it, and then I want to move into how important the athletic testing is and measurements are, as it relates to the success levels of these players once they come into the league, because there are some correlations, and that's the reason I value the combine, because I think it does verify what we see on tape. It verifies how, like, some of these guys aren't as tall as we think they are. They're not as heavy. Their arms aren't as long as you think. And those things all matter when it comes to measuring. So we'll look at some RAS scores and go over that. And then I wanted to play a game before we do. If we have time, we'll do a mock draft at the end. But I want to play a game where we guess the wide receiver 40 times. I think we get kind of in these discussions every year, like guessing what they are, because they're really the 40 times that everyone tracks. No one else cares about any of the 40 times. Maybe
the
corner's
a little,
corner. But corners are such a less flashy position. Wide receiver is such a popular position to go after. So, Randall, why don't you start, man? What is your thoughts on the combine and the level of importance you see on it?
Yeah, I love the combine. I think it's very valuable for folks like us and and for people that evaluate and getting ready and talk about it and things along those lines. I think for NFL teams overall, I think that now in the year of 2026, it's getting less valuable to NFL teams when it comes down to it, because there's now GPS tracking on miles per hour that teams use and things along those lines, and just a lot more technology. But when it does come down to it, Alex, you're pretty much nailed it. There's a lot of important things, and you just have to compartmentalize what you're looking for, what's important and what's not important, to ensure that you can verify what you are looking at. That's the number one thing is, like just as we talked about 40 times, not important to me, not important to defensive tackles or offensive line, but I am interested in your 10-yard split and running the hoop with edges. That's not timed, but you watch that in the combine. You can see the bend in there. I think broad jump, I really like broad jump in my personal opinion. I think that shows balance and explosion. And then something that I think we'll talk about later, Alex, which we had a conversation about with, I think it was Kenneth Grant in the bench press.
Right.
And stuff like that. So it's RAS is great because it's such a good tool to be able to look at a player's full dimensions in that process. But you really do have to take away what's important and what's not important.
What was Kenneth Grant's bench? How many
13?
reps did he do?
I want to say 13 or 14. It was low.
Even with long arms, that's not good. Just to give you a good, what it is, when I was 210, I'm a little lighter than that right now. I was 210. I was 32 years old, and I'm 6'2". I've got probably 31-inch arms. I could do 225 15 times. This was 10 years ago, right? But I can't do that anymore.
I think my max is 8.
Yeah, I mean, but this is what I was in my prime of my lifting. Now I probably can do it 4 or 5 times. You know what I mean? But back then, I could roll them out. The fact that a professional athlete that weighs 320 pounds can't do that much. That's. I mean, his is more impactful because he's got more weight behind it. But I'm also not trying to push 315-pound offensive lineman he is,
Yeah, I found a Todd McShay guide, and it was actually a really cool tool. And for bench press, that he has yellow flags, average, red flags, average, good sort of thing. Bench press for defensive tackles, the red flags at 17. So there's a flag sort of thing. Yep. Edges are 14, red flag, linebackers 11, and then cornerbacks 4. Because who cares about that?
Cares?
That's
Receivers
kind of
probably 5 or 6 too, probably.
Right, exactly. Right? So that's kind of where we're talking about. You got to pick and choose what's important.
Yeah. And quarterbacks too, you don't want them benching at all. It provides a certain level of tension on their ligaments between their chest and their shoulder. And actually, a lot of quarterback prospects are told never to bench just because it's not something that's beneficial for them. The flexibility in your arm is way more important than having a strong chest and strong shoulders. Will Levis is a good example of this, versus Josh Allen, who's not bulky at all through his chest or his shoulders.
Right.
What about you, Miley?
Yeah, I think the combine is both overrated and underrated by the average NFL fan. I think they overrate testing a 40 time. Or obviously there's exceptions, if you're really, really bad or really good, it can definitely help. But I think often too many times people look at these crazy combine numbers 40 time and they're they try to push people up Xavier Worthy. You saw, oh my God, he ran a 4.2. He's going to be the next Tyreek Hill. And you see that's not happening because if you actually watch, you knew that he was just too undersized. and he wasn't good through press. You had to really manufacture touches, which in the NFL can only go so far. Like, yeah, you can manufacture touches, but you can only do that so much, and that's kind of he's a gadget player, and he was taken in the first round a lot to do with that 40 time. But I think it's also underrated because of the medical, like teams get players they can meet. They can talk about the interview process. That you can kind of get a feel of like what type of player you're drafting, and then the measurements. Like for offensive tackles, how long your arms are. Quarterbacks, how big your hands are. Edge, how long your arms are. Like things like that. That it matters a lot, but it also sometimes is a little. That could also be sometimes a little overrated, depending on who you're talking to. Like everyone, like with Joe Burrow, everyone was like, "Oh, his hands are so small," but it's a situation where it didn't really matter because there's exceptions. You can be that good even if you have small measurables, but the average time is where the measurables are really important. There's exceptions to all of it, but I think people kind of sometimes overlook measurables, and I think those are what's most important. Is you're meeting with your teams, get to meet with players, and they can meet with other coaches and GMs. A lot of times trades can be discussed at the combine. Like Brady and Bean are going to the combine. I bet you Bean's gonna talk every GM and coach's ear off trying to get trades going. And I wouldn't be surprised within a week of the combine if the Bills have some sort of trade finalized. And a lot of it could stem from the. So I think like the networking, the interviewing, and the medicals are probably what's most important about the combine. And the other stuff, you're more so, like you said, you're looking to see what it verifies what you watched on tape. If it doesn't really verify what you've seen on tape, then it probably doesn't honestly matter too much, and it's kind of overinflated or underinflated.
Yeah, I got a question for you guys. That we were talking about 40. How much do you value the 40 time with guys 6'2" and a half and above? Wide receivers.
It depends on how they win in college, right? Like, so if you're a guy who's winning down the field a whole bunch and getting separation down the field, and you're doing it at like, let's take Ted Hurst, for example. I think it's a good example. He's not going to test. I don't know if people know this or not. Ted Hurst is not going to test this week on Thursday or Friday, whenever it is.
Ted Hurst is going to test.
No, he's not going to test. Unless it changed in the last hour or two.
I thought you got a correction on that, Randall. Randall got a correction on that.
So Daniel Jeremiah had the Matt Perino interview, and he said Ted Hurst was weirdly not going to go to the combine. I tagged Daniel Jeremiah, and he responded he was talking about Tyron Montgomery is not going to test at the combine. All right. He slipped, and it was wrong on the report. So Ted Hurst will run.
Okay, good. So let's take Tyron Montgomery. He's another guy's a D3 prospect, right? So looked really good in the Senior Bowl for all intents and purposes. And we know how he wins at the D3 level, or, even if he was FCS or, low end, like Sun Belt Conference D1 FBS, right? If he's running by people all day against that level of competition and he's 6'3", 210, and that's how he wins, I want to see him run and I want to see him break 4.5. If he doesn't, 4.5 is my line, by the way. And if he doesn't do that, I have major concerns because he's not a jump ball winner. He's not going to be a guy like, I don't see him. I don't think his route tree is that extensive yet, things like that. Right. So you're going to want to see more speed from a guy like that. From a guy like, like you take Keon Coleman, for instance, we'll look at his RAS later. I have it pulled up already. 4.6 is a line. I think it's 4.58, isn't it? Is it 4.6 or 4.58? Where like the level of like the percentage of hit rate goes through like the floor. Like you've got like Jerry Rice and Keenan Allen and no, Stevie at 4.5. He said 4.5.
I thought he had a 4.64. I thought he had a, but
I
think that's
4.5
been talked about
back
on Twitter
in the day.
a lot.
So I mean, I was young when they came out, but what I would say is like, there's a line somewhere in that 4.6 range that just usually doesn't correlate to high-end success for players. There is like a minimum threshold for it. You can do it if you're an elite route runner, an elite contested catch guy.
4.59.
Is that the line?
I just Googled it.
Well, there's a line for cornerbacks, 4.60. You can't play man.
Yeah.
NFL takes it at that. 4.6.
Yeah.
If you're higher than 4.6.
No, it's possible, right? It's possible,
unless you're Jerry Rice.
You become the outlier because Rice is like a 4.71 or whatever.
Yeah.
Like these guys are
And he's
slower.
the greatest NFL
but
player.
he's the
of all
best
time.
athlete you've ever seen, and his play speed's better. And Keenan Allen's a little similar to that, like a poor man's version of that. DeAndre Hopkins is another one that ran slow. Anquan Bolden, and it sounds like a lot because we know the names, but those are the only ones. You know what I mean?
Right.
Like they don't typically make it. So when you look at it from that perspective, yes, I think 4.5 is what I'm looking for. Even if you go to 4.55, I'm okay. Like I think it was Laviska Shenault in college. I didn't like the prospect with the player. I saw kind of a one-trick pony with that. But everybody was saying he was going to run 4.4s, and also he ran like 4.55, 4.56, something like that. And I remember thinking that's what I thought he would run, and he ends up being this type of player that's just not very impactful. So I think, long story short, that's kind of, it depends on the way they win in college and the competition level they win at. Like I had a conversation earlier today with somebody saying, what if Ted Hurst played on Ohio State? Will we be thinking about him differently? And I'm like, yeah, because he'd be doing this against Michigan State, not Texas State, right? And that matters too. So that's my
Michigan
take.
State at this point.
You know what I mean. Texas or Texas State.
Right now.
Who's the Texas State?
Let's say Texas.
Oregon. We'll say Oregon.
Yeah, we'll say Oregon. Yeah.
Texas State Armadillos.
Yeah. No, but yeah. Hey, Texas State's not bad though. They got some dudes.
Yeah.
But yeah, no.
I didn't want to use JMU because JMU's too good
with you.
to say that.
Yeah, I'm just messing with you. Yeah, no, I agree. I mean, I think like it is case by case. You're right, but I think case by case right now when we're getting into it, especially with how fast corners are and how they play, I think it's dependent on where they start, like pre-combine, where their stock is, and then how it's going to be post-combine. Like Denzel Boston for me needs to run a 4.44 if he wants to remain in the top 35. Between 4.44 and 4.46 in between there.
Yeah.
If he runs a 4.51, then then to me, I'm talking about third round because his contested catch will go down because cornerbacks will be able to mirror him too quickly.
Yeah, agreed.
Okay.
Yeah, and I think anything sorry, I didn't mean to cut you off, Miley. I'd say anything sub 4.5 for him would be fine for me, as long as he can show in his workouts that his routes, like the way he won in college was not like always just lining up on the X and beating people. He was in motion a lot, coming out of the back. You know what I mean?
For sure.
There's a lot of weird ways he was winning. So I want to see him on the line playing against corners and winning.
Yeah, for me, I guess I'm more so just looking for like outlier or not being an outlier, like a bad outlier. Like as long as you're in the range, you run in the range of where you're kind of projected. And like based on the type of player you are, like the lines you guys have been given, then for me it's like, all right, that's good. And this is what I'm seeing on tape. I can live with that. I've never really been someone that puts too much stock into the combine because I feel like it sometimes overinflates players' values. If they, especially when they score above what people thought, like even Matthew Golden last year, he ran that super fast combine and that kind of brought his stock up. And I'm not saying his like he's not going to end up being worth the pick. Like he could next year without Romeo Doubs, and who knows how Tucker Kraft looks after the ACL. And the way he looked in the playoffs, he could step in and he could end up being that 1,000-yard receiver that everyone thought he would be right off the gate. But his numbers historically, like a lot of the numbers that he has, he's on the wrong side of history for first round receivers to make it work. So he had a very disappointing, and he's some Xavier Worthy, John Ross, those are just a couple of the names of just wide receivers that run these super fast times. People like kind of are like, oh my God, they're going to be, and it kind of inflates their stock. So as long as they're not running a bad outlier for me, that's really all that matters. It's kind of like, don't put yourself on the wrong side of history and you're fine. And I kind of think you the same as I did prior.
Yeah. Like the upside of it, I think is the verification. Like that's the best. Like you should never improve a person's stock just because they ran a fast 40. You already know the player, right?
Right.
So like that should verify, which the high end should verify. Wow. Okay. It's not, this guy's more speed than I thought. No, this guy plays a certain way. He either utilizes that speed or he doesn't. I guess you could change his game, but it's probably unlikely. But the low end is like, we're really looking for red flags in this case, right?
Yeah.
Oh, was this not checking out with what we know about like Denzel Boston, right? Like is he going to be slow? We'll talk about what our projections are on receivers later. I don't know personally. I have my ideas of what I think he'll run, but we'll get that on camera so we can get it, receipts or whatever. But that's kind of how I vibe it.
Yeah, I think one major thing which annoys the absolute shit out of me with the combine is a lot of people will come in and lose some weight right before the combine to run faster, which is so annoying because you should be at the combine at your play weight.
Yeah.
And then when it came to Matthew Golden, I thought that was a stretch as well because he broke out in the second half of his final year at college. He did not have.
It was really just one half of a season too.
Breakout age is like the most important thing for me.
It was when
especially
Isaiah
wide
Bond,
receivers.
Right. It was when Isaiah Bond got hurt, and then he took over as that wide receiver one at Texas, and then it was the second half breakout.
Yeah.
When I'm looking at wide receivers, like one of the number one things, obviously film is important, but like if I'm looking at numbers, I think probably the most important number to look at for wide receivers is breakout age. I feel like it's pretty rare that wide receivers break out at a young age and then they don't end up being at least quality NFL wide receivers. I mean, I'm not saying you can't have a low breakout and you just develop slower and still be really good. But I mean, look at a lot of the top receivers in the league. They were dominating as freshmen.
Yeah.
You got JSN. You got Jamar Chase, CeeDee Lamb, Amon-Ra even. I mean, he kind of fell, I guess, maybe not so much, but he was a 5-star recruit, and he kind of fell a little bit. But, I mean, then you also get your Pukas that kind of don't really do that. They break out a little bit later, and then they come in the league and absolutely dominate. But a lot of your top-end guys, especially first-round picks, if they have really breakout ages, history's on their side that they're going to have a good, long career.
Now, do you guys have any players, wide receivers, I guess, because we're talking about really the 40, this year that you will ensure if they run a crazy fast 40 that you will not move their stock?
Even if they run a fast 40?
If they run a fast 40.
Brendan Thompson.
I
think he's a day 2 guy, and
5'9", 170.
He's a slot receiver.
He's a day 3 guy no matter what.
Yeah.
Or round 3 guy, I meant.
5'9", 170 scares me, especially when you look at like what Xavier Worthy is right now.
Mm-hmm.
and I believe Xavier Worthy's taller than him, if I'm not mistaken.
He's like 5'11",
I think.
5'11"? Yeah, Brendan Thompson, 5'9", 170 verified. So we'll see what he's at the combine, but preseason, that's what he was verified as. So everybody's kind of hyping up Brendan Thompson to get in like the end of round 2, and I definitely think that that's a mistake.
Yeah, end of round 3, though, if we go and get like a good veteran receiver, I can, like you say, we get like a DJ Moore. I'd be fine with a Brendan Thompson and a round 3 pick, and those are the 2 receivers we get. And then Brendan Thompson kind of is just we're not drafting him to develop into being a wide receiver 1 or 2 for the team, but he's just a good gadget guy with some downfield speed. And then next year we kind of more so look for someone to take over the wide receiver 1 role. I wouldn't hate that role. That's kind of honestly the role I'm looking at. Get an established veteran and then go and get like a gadget-y guy that you can get some production about at day 2.
I don't know about that. I mean, because gadget, then you're taking away from Shakir a little bit. Because
I mean, more of like
you want a vertical outside guy.
Kind of like Curtis Samuel in his prime.
Yeah, okay. I feel like Antonio Williams. That's minor league gadget, but he's more outside X.
Yeah,
like Brendan Thompson and Zachariah Branch, you're basically taking away touches from Shakir, in my opinion.
Well, with Branch, for sure.
For Branch,
I don't like Branch, but like honestly, that's not the
I think Brennan can be the Brandon Cooks role.
Yeah, exactly. That's kind of
5'9", 170 though.
But he's going to play. Look at Cooks' reps wasn't winning from the X. He was getting a lot of his deep shots. He was running from the slot a lot, things like that.
Yeah,
I can see him doing those things.
Point.
You know what I mean? Like, I'm not saying he's the same player. Like Cooks is elite.
Cooks is only. I mean, he's a little bit heftier, but he's only an inch taller.
Much, yeah, he's not much.
Press man though. That press man outside is where the weight and the height kind of established. If you can initial punch him at the line of scrimmage, timing's done.
I also think that we probably should take a few touches away from Shakir. He kind of got a little bit inefficient for us this year.
I agree with that.
And banged up. I think the way we used him at the end of 2023 and a lot of 2024, I think is better, where we use him still for those screens, but kind of get him 5-ish targets a game, I think is perfect. I think you start giving him more like that. I think he starts becoming a little bit more inefficient, and you're relying too much on the yards after the catch. And I mean, obviously, there's games he's going to get more, but I kind of fine if we take a few touches away for him just for efficiency reasons.
Let's do some of our 40-yard dash guesses on what these guys will run. I'll go down the list and you guys tell me, and I'll give you my guess, and then we'll go into like RES scores and stuff after that, just since we're already kind of here. And I think it's kind of a fun exercise anyway, because I think this is something that we end up talking about every single year is how the receivers are going to run, and we always kind of have disagreements on this stuff. And I think Randall and I had these conversations like the last 2 or 3 years when we talk about draft stuff, since that's about how long we've been doing it.
I remember one embarrassing thing that I said that I won't say on camera.
Do it. You got to say it now. You can't just say that.
Who was the Miami, Florida wide receiver last year that ended up not going? Xavier Restrepo. Man, I thought for sure he was going to run something like the 4.48, and I think he ran like a 4.69.
I thought he ran like a 4.8.
Yeah,
he ran a 4.8.
He was hurt.
It got him undrafted
at that time, but there's no way. There was nowhere near he was touching 4.48. And I will tell you, it was like 10:30 at night. And then when we were talking back and forth, it was like 10:30 at night. Now it feels a little funny. So then when I like said it, you're like, absolutely not. And I was like, damn, he's right, but I can't go back on it now. So I just like stuck with it the whole year.
Yeah, that's funny. The funny thing is that was a great example of what we talked about a second ago with how it can hurt you, right? In the combine, like you couldn't actually get it verified on what his speed actually is, right?
Yeah.
So that's kind of the issue there. And I think that was one of the good examples of how a guy who probably should have been drafted ended up not getting drafted.
For sure.
Okay, so is Jordan Tyson running? We'll go right at the top.
I have no idea.
Yeah, I think he is running. He should run.
I think he needs to run. Okay, so Miley, you go first. What are you thinking on Jordan Tyson?
4.38.
Woo, 4.52 for me.
I was gonna say 4.51.
I don't know. I think Tyson. He's been battling ankle injuries this year. I thought last year he was a little more explosive, and I could see him being one of those guys that wants to try and improve his stock back up and maybe lose a couple. I'm not saying it's the greatest thing, but he kind of seems like someone that might lose a couple of pounds to try and run a fast 40 to overcome the injury.
All right, that's Miley's Xavier Restrepo for the year.
Okay, yeah. Or he could be like Ty Simpson and gain 25 pounds for the combine. Do you hear that? I mean, like that's ridiculous. He's like, I played 25 because he got hurt. He said he lost 25 pounds, which sounds like a load of shit. Carnell Tate.
Ooh. Are we going to rotate? So Miley goes, I'll go first.
Yeah.
I think Carnell Tate is going to run a 4.4. Man, that's close. I think I'll go 4.49.
Miley?
I'll go 4.42.
4.54.
4.54. That's I mean, that's where the conversation of Carnell Tate right now is going. Is there's concerns that he drops to 18 because the top end speed is not there. Yeah. So in the NFL, is Carnell Tate going to rely? No, he's not.
Slow,
right. Is Carnell Tate needs to rely more on his double moves at the stem and the press release to get open, unlike he does in college.
He kind of reminds me a bit of Chris Olave, where I think he's going to surprise people with his 40 time a little bit. I remember people thought the same thing about. I thought people thought the same thing about Olave. Really, I thought
he was going to run faster than that based on what I saw in college. I thought he was in the. I was like, man, he's running low 4.3s, and he ran like
what a lot of people said. I thought, like, I remember what a lot of people are saying is that he was going to run in the 4.4s, and then he ran like a 4.35 or something like that, and it kind of surprised people, like, because I think Tate and Olave are kind of similar receivers. So,
right, all right, Mekhi Lemon.
This is you start, Alex.
I'll go
4.
Oh,
sorry, I thought you meant. I'll go first because y'all went first last 2 times. 4.59.
I was gonna say 4.54.
I think he's slow.
I think he's slow too.
I was gonna say flat 4.5.
Yeah,
4.5 would be good for him.
I mean, I think once he gets going, I think his top it. I bet you he has a good mile per hour when he gets down the field, like with a ball in his hands eventually.
Yep.
And I don't think he's very fast before that. I don't know. I don't think he's at 40 yards. He's not going to be explosive in that area. I think he's got that build up speed, and for a short guy, that's actually not a great thing. I don't love it. That's half the reason I'm not super high on him. I know a lot of people are, but
You and me both, brother.
Denzel Boston.
I think he runs a 4.43. I think he does prove his speed,
Mhm.
and I think he runs a 4.43.
I got 4.48.
I'm 4.49. Yeah, I
4.49?
think he's in that 4.4s range.
Yeah.
I
His
see.
special teams shows good speed.
Yeah, and I question him, and then all of a sudden I watch his tape, and I'm like, oh, he's pretty, like, he's more explosive than we giving him credit for, and that's kind of what I started selling myself on with him a little bit. Was like, I don't love the player, but I like the player, I guess, and I see him getting down the field, and I'm like, oh, he's got a little more juice than I think he lets on, or he looks to be, because he's just built weird.
I really hope he doesn't run a 4.6 so we get to see those quotes about Bean, and then he trades.
We'll get him.
Oh my god! Then we are living in a simulation, and I'm just done. Like,
yeah. All right, Omar Cooper.
Ooh, I think he run. I think he's gonna run well. I think he's gonna run a 4.40. I don't think he's gonna break 4.40. But
No.
I think he's going to run a 4.40.
Yeah. I had 4.45.
I'm going like 4.42 is my guess. He's going low 4.4s in my opinion. Kind of like a Shakir type of speed, you know.
He's my candidate to win the vertical.
Yeah, he's an athlete.
Yeah,
Better
he's
than
an
he gets
athlete.
credit for. I mean, he gets
Yeah.
overshadowed a little bit, but I think he's so we're kind of all he's the fastest one we've talked about so far between the three of us, four of us, three of us.
Except for me thinking that Tyson's gonna go crazy.
Tyson's gonna run it,
just
and then
ignore
you
it.
can clip that of me being an idiot, and then now I got 2 years in a row of idiocy.
Malachi Fields.
4.55.
Yeah, I was gonna say 4.52.
What Keon run? He's
4.61.
He's gonna run a 4.75, so people stop talking about him going to Bills
4.55.
in the first
Okay,
round.
4.55.
I want it to be as slow as possible, so people stop mocking him to us.
Yeah, I'm gonna say 4.64. I think he's slower than Keon actually. I mean
that's. Oh yeah, you're right, man.
He's a
You're
better.
right.
I think he's maybe a better player than Keon. I just think that he's a slower player. I don't see any separation on tape.
I think it's so to be determined because they're so similar. It's how do you adjust to the NFL sort of thing, and everybody's like, oh, like it's just spinning wheels, and we don't know. Malachi Fields made money just like Keon. We don't know if he's going to show up for meetings. Don't draft Malachi Fields, Brandon Bean. Please.
He's built like a slow DK Metcalf.
Yes.
Could we
That's kind of
clip
how I
this and
view
like
it.
email this to Bean?
And he's never
Us
put up.
just saying, please don't send
Somebody
him.
put a
Please don't
somebody
draft
put a
him."
somebody put a highlight reel on him 2 days ago, and I responded to it because half of the highlight reel was him blocking, and then he had one.
Oh no!
And then he had one. And then
Oh
he had
no!
one,
We're gonna draft him, aren't we?
and he had one-handed catch that was like very dope.
All
But
right,
I was like,
Bill.
that's what Keon did. Like Keon had that Syracuse catch, and then he blocked and.
He had the other one where he caught it over the middle and took it to the house.
Yeah.
He had a couple play, and then LSU game really helped Keon a lot. I think if it wasn't for the LSU game, he would be probably wasn't drafted in the first 3 rounds last
Half
year.
of his highlight reel being blocking means we're drafting him. We just have to eventually prepare ourselves.
Yeah, because Tyrell Shavers is on IR.
Zachariah Branch.
I think he runs a 4.37. He's fast.
Yeah.
His 10-yard split's gonna win.
4.42. I mean, he's fast, but I don't know. Maybe it was just the way they used him.
You got like a Zay Flowers thing going on with him.
You didn't get to see it a lot, yeah.
Because Zay Flowers was like that, where like everybody was like, he's gonna run so good, and then he ran like 4.44 or 4.43 or whatever.
He's very quick, and I think in the slot that kind of makes him look a bit faster than he is.
I'm gonna say 4.39.
Yeah, I think he wins the short shuttle.
Yeah.
Yeah, I could definitely see that.
Yeah.
All right. We're not going to do every single player, by the way, but we're going to go through some of the favorites. Casey Concepcion, Randall's favorite player.
Randall's going to say 4.20, isn't he? Just
4.13.
No, that means we can't get him.
Breaking the record.
He's going to blow the record away.
I'm going to go 4.42. 4.43. 4.43.
Okay.
I'll go 4.4 on the dot. I think he's pretty fast.
Yeah, I think he reminds me a lot of Percy Harvin. I'm not gonna lie, like when the good Percy Harvin, not the one that
Good,
ended up
yeah.
I
sucking.
did love that. Percy
That's good,
Harvin,
that's good.
especially being a Gators. I remember I
The good
predicted
Percy
he was
Harvin
going to
for
get the kickoff in the Super Bowl. I said to my
Mhm.
friend before the coin flip, I go, whichever one, like either first half or second half, whichever one the Seahawks get the kick, like return or whatever, Harvin's taking it to the house, and he did. Unfortunately, I was like 8 at the time, so I couldn't bet on it.
I'm gonna say Concepcion's like a 4.45. I have a weird vibe that he's just not gonna be super fast, but his 10-yard splits can be like 1.48.
Yeah, I saw a new comp that I liked that somebody put out. I think it was Santana Moss. I think that was a pretty good one too.
Mm-hmm.
I saw
Yeah.
Doug Baldwin. I kind of like that too. I'd like if we got Doug
Baldwin.
Baldwin, that'd be awesome.
Yeah.
I loved Doug
Yeah.
Baldwin in the Seahawks.
I just hope if
Those
we
prime
drafted
Russ Baldwin days.
He's the number one guy that we keep getting mocked to, I think. I think if you just put him, as an amalgamation of all put together. But I really hope if we do get him, we don't utilize him like Shakir. We actually use him as like a real wide receiver because he's a good route runner. And he's got a good release package. He's a good player. He can play on the outside. He's not just a slot receiver. He's got the goods to be a good player. He's similar in a lot of ways. He's kind of similar to Golden too. I feel like,
I get that.
A little bit of that kind of vibe of the way he is utilized and kind of maybe the same weaknesses.
Now we just need a Megatron to pair with him.
Right. Chris Brazzell. This one's tricky.
Ooh, that's a good one.
I can see it being pretty fast.
I can too, but then I could see him just being a tall guy.
6'5", 200.
Yeah, I could see him. There's like a huge range I could see this from.
Yeah.
I'm gonna go flat 4.50.
That was my guess too. That was what I was gonna say. Flat 4.50. Like that's kind of what he vibes.
Which is perfect. Perfect.
He's fine.
Okay, I'll go. I'll continue the trend of me saying everyone's gonna run a bit faster. I'll go 4.45.
Okay, that's
I just
reasonable.
think wide receivers put a lot of stock into these 40 times because it raises their draft stock, even
What's
though
he
it
going to lose weight to? He's 6'5". He's going to reign at 175.
Yeah, anything under 200 would be detrimental to him.
They're also they also train for this too. A lot of times receivers train.
Yeah, you're right.
Yeah,
you're right.
Yeah, and then they're all equally training, right? So it's kind of evens the playing field. Some guys have better physics when it comes to running this type of race, right? Coming from that position, like at the 3-point stance and things like that. Like a lot of guys aren't good at that kind of thing. That's why you see a lot of guys who have better play speed. They're not running from a weird track position. They're just not track stars. I'm gonna do like 3 more. Let's go with Jeremy Bernard.
Ooh, 4.63.
Yeah, I was gonna say 4.57.
Oof. You think he's that fast?
I'm going to continue to be a bit generous. I guess.
I think the issue with Jeremy Bernard, which I do need to revisit him. I watched 4 games. I think I need to watch way back when, so I need to watch a little bit more. I think his issue is the way that he's utilized makes him look a little bit slower because he's like a very traditional college Z where they want to use him in some rushing, they want to use him in quick outs and go sort of thing. So like you don't see him often straight line speed, so it's hard to gauge his 40, but he's not explosive. Him and Elijah Surratt are the non-explosive good wide receivers in this class.
But Surratt just catches anything that comes his way, so I love him.
Same.
Yeah. I'm gonna say Jeremy's I'm gonna say 4.65. Maybe 4, maybe slower. I think he's slow. Like, I don't know. I just don't see any kind of real separation at all.
I get it. I get it.
I think he's a good route runner. I just think this is something to be desired,
Yeah.
All right, Malik Benson.
Ooh, 4.36. My guy.
I'll go. Yeah, I was gonna say 4.35. I mean, he's electric.
Nice. I think he's running 4.3 flat.
4.3 flat. 10.4 400 meter in high school, and he came out of high school almost like I think he was only 10 pounds lighter coming out of high school. That is That's 4.24 4.25 speed at a 10.4 400 meter.
Something about being in Oregon just makes wide receivers and skill positions just much.
What's
more
it called?
electric.
Flying? Is it called the flying 20? What's the last 20 called? Is that what they call it? what do they call the last 20 yards?
10 yard, the 20-yard split, and then the last.
The red zone?
It's like the flying 20 or they call it something. I forget what it is, but like I think that's where he's gonna like accelerate. Like I think he's gonna have a good get off, but I think that's where like he's really gonna hit his stride, like yard 20, 100%. And he's gonna fly past that. So that's why I think 4.3 is where I'm guessing with him. I think he's gonna raise his stock quite a bit, even though he probably shouldn't. All right, Ted Hurst.
He is fast.
This is wrong because I was not going to believe it because there's word that he had hand timed a 4.37 was a hand time, which is insane.
So I was going to say 4.42 because hand time usually takes a couple seconds off.
Right. 6'3", 195. That's just absolutely insane. I don't think a 6'3", 195 person can legitimately run a 4.36 unless you're Nick Harbor.
DK Metcalf.
Well, he's not 195. He's 235.
Right.
Well,
yeah,
he's just a freaking nature.
Yeah, he's a machine.
I'm not even sure.
If he could run routes, he'd be a top 5 receiver in football.
He can't, but his agility is the worst we've ever seen.
Yeah.
His combine agility was the worst.
Yeah. I'm going to go 4.44. And that is that if he runs a 4.44, Ted Hurst, and he does well in the gauntlet, then I'm putting him clear at pick 60 and wouldn't be surprised if he's gone by pick 60.
Mm-hmm. All right. I'm going to say 4.48. I just think we're going to see a little bit of a less of what he looks 4.3 when I watch him play against, Texas State, right?
Yeah.
Or JMU,
don't disrespect them armadillos down there.
Are they really the armadillos? Because that was from a movie. You know that, right?
Yeah, it was a joke.
Okay, just making sure. I think they're called something else. But it'd be cool if they named the armadillos.
Ben Bell came from Texas State, Virginia Tech. He's like my deepest sleeper edge.
Yep. Okay, last one. Brennan Thompson. It's Brennan Thompson.
I don't think anybody breaks 4.30, but I think he runs a 4.30.
Okay, I said 4.28. They're the Texas State Bobcats.
Okay.
Oh yeah, that's right.
Google them.
I'm gonna say actually like fourth. I think he's gonna be slower than you think. I'm not saying he's super fast. Don't get me wrong. I just think that we're gonna be a little surprised. That's my guess. This is my sleeper. He's gonna run 4.36, 4.37, which is super fast. It's plenty.
Yeah,
fast.
but then that tempers everything.
Yeah, it brings him down a little bit. It makes him totally out of the second round conversation. Probably probably in the late third. I think he could at best at that point. Because if he runs if he breaks the record or something crazy, like he ties Xavier Worthy, I could see him being a second round pick and people just putting too much stock in that,
For sure.
Okay.
And then quick on 40s to close it real quick because you're going to do that. Couple guys that I want to shout out for Buffalo that I'm interested to see run in the cornerback department if we're looking for day 3 cornerbacks.
Yep.
To kind of maybe put behind Maxwell Hairston.
Mm-hmm.
Damani Jackson. I think he's going to run in the mid 4.3s.
Okay.
He's an easy buy dip. He had a great 2024, subpar 2025. Would love to have somebody like that. And Will the Blanket Lee the third from Texas A&M, another buy low. He's a day 3 guy right now. I think he's a very good man corner. I think he'll run a 4.47, 4.45. And those would too, if you're putting Dorian Strong behind Christian Benford, I think those 2 guys right there that you're looking at to watch would be great to be behind Max Hairston.
Are these guys both
up to Strong
boundary?
He comes back.
Are they both boundary corners? Okay.
Both boundary man. Will Lee's just a man guy. Domani's a little bit more in the zone, but strictly a man guy.
Yeah. And that's, it's important for corners to be able to run, like you're saying before. If you break, was it 4.61 or whatever, or slower? That's a legit thing. You got to keep up with people in their long speed. Otherwise, you have to give them these huge cushions. You get to play off man or zone or whatever. Sorry, but that's good stuff. What do you think Elijah Surratt runs? By the way, is the last one.
4.53.
Okay. 4.53. Okay.
4.58.
Yeah.
4.59.
I think he's
high 4.5s too. 4.58.
Yeah, I think again he's one of the guys I think wants to run a bit faster to try and raise his stock. So.
I know they have a totally different game, but just I guess it's his height and his weight and the way he moves. He reminds me so much of Gabe Davis, just the movement skills. It's not
Grape
anything-
Davis.
Yeah,
He's got a
Gabe
full
Davis.
route tree and he knows how to catch.
I
the
know
ball.
he can run routes way better, but it's the way he moves and stuff is very much like that.
But can he get
locked up
98-yard touchdowns
6'2".
against the Pittsburgh Steelers while I'm wearing his jersey?
Yeah. That's
Can he
answer
get
is-
4
the
touchdowns
answer
in a
is
playoff
yes.
game?
A Bills Mafia said
Can he have
Dorian
200
Strong.
yards and 4
I don't think
touchdowns?
Dorian's coming back this year. That's my.
I
No, I
do.
don't think so.
Man, it looks rough. That surgery looked rough.
I
but
think he
could be
comes
wrong.
back. I just don't know if he comes back this year. I don't think he retires.
Oh yeah, I think he could come back in
Oh,
27.
speaking of that, do you see? Looks like Jeremiah Owusu-Koramoah is done.
Yeah,
From
I
that
saw
Derrick
that.
I don't know.
Henry hit.
He came.
They just
he
said
came
he's
out with this.
unlikely to come back. Like just report today.
Okay, because Mary Kate Cabot, the Browns reporter, posted it, and then he sent a I think an Instagram post saying, "Be like, so what's the news?" sort of thing.
Yeah.
Oh,
He's trolling.
okay. So
It's a similar injury to Dorian Strong.
Yeah, and Joke had the issues. That's why he fell in the draft. Is his combine medicals?
Yeah. All right, you want to do the RAS
really,
stuff?
it was more so just Derrick Henry just decided to Derrick Henry him. So
Y'all want to do RAS scores and kind of walk out, like share the image? You're not going to be able to see this on iTunes, but we'll try to describe it as best we can. I'll verbalize it. I've got some guys saved just from the Bills, just to give us a good gauge. It's we're a Bills podcast. It gives them the best gauge of like, oh, okay, I'm familiar with this player. This is why they were more successful or not as successful. We can kind of walk through it. We've got some of the averages, like Randall's got that pulled up where we're seeing some thresholds to hit. I know most of them kind of by heart a little bit because I love the combine, but we can kind of walk through them a little bit, and I want to kind of take them one by one. I've got like 6 or 7 guys here that we can go over that I think are varying levels of talent on our team, and like some of the concerns that we originally had based on the combine numbers. Some of the stuff has come to fruition just to kind of show some value in it. All right, hold on. I'm gonna share my screen really quick. All right, here we go. All right, we're gonna start with Terrell Bernard, and I'm gonna remove the banner so it's not in the way. Okay.
Perfect.
So we can see my face.
Yeah. What's up, Alex? What's up, Miley?
This
all
is
right.
exactly
so,
who he was. Good player, undersized.
Yeah, exactly. I mean, all right. So we've got 30.25-inch arms, pretty short for a linebacker. Not crazy, but definitely like on the shorter side. Hand size 9 5/8, 9.625 to be exact. That's fine, right? I think 9 inches and above is pretty much the threshold for most players, right? Anything under 9, you start getting into weird territory. Like Kenny Pickett, for instance, had like 8 5/8 or 8 3/4. I think that's a problem, right? Especially for a quarterback has to grip the football. NFL football is pretty big. If you're throwing one, it's not easy when you have small hands. It takes away from some things like your arm strength at the end of the day, your velocity of the ball. 6 foot, 224, definitely undersized. I don't think he's a 1.82 out of 10 is his rating for his weight, right? He did put up 22 bench reps. For linebackers, that's above average, but I think for his size, that's pretty dang good. I don't know.
Agreed.
6.92 out of 10 is slightly above average in the good range, but it's still like more impressive to me than that. I think it shows he has good functional strength. Vertical is excellent, 35.5 inches, 10'3" broad, excellent. 40-yard dash, 4.59. That's fine. It does show him well above average in the really elite range for that. I don't know if I consider that elite, but that's, what RAS has taken the averages of all the linebackers over the years, and that's where they use these numbers and compute them from. And a 10-yard split of 157, which is also elite. I kind of see that. I'm kind of shocked his agility drills were so good. I mean, I don't see that kind of movement skills, but I guess it's kind of maybe come to fruition over time.
I saw it his first year as a starter for sure, and then he's just been battling ankle injuries ever since. I think when he is healthy, I definitely can see the elite movement skills there, and his
I agree with you.
and when he reads how quick he is off the ball, that's why we see him shoot gaps the way he can, or
Sure.
like read a defense and make those user lurking interceptions. And I think a lot of that is because he is a great athlete. The problem is he just can't stay healthy, and so when he isn't healthy, and the fact that he's undersized, that's why he looks so bad this year. Is because he's losing that quick first step that he has on people, and he just doesn't have the size to overcome it. And
Sure.
I think that really killed his game. That's why I'm excited to see him hopefully play in a different role this year, which will kind of put him in better positions already to start, and then maybe he'll stay a little bit healthier and he can really unleash that athleticism. Because it looked like he was almost like running around like he had wooden, like, from Family Guy, the dude that has the wooden legs.
Yeah.
Bro,
Yeah.
he kind of looked like he
does
was
run
running
like
like he
that.
was him. When
did,
this
yeah.
year
His
with those
knees.
anchor injuries, that's what he
They
looked
should have
like.
just put him on IR this year.
He's not
This
a
is
really
crazy.
he's not really a big knee bender anyway when he runs, and maybe that's why I have the deception that he's not super agile when he's running, because he does kind of run funny. Even when he was healthy, he runs like that.
Yeah,
You know what I mean? So
just not nearly as bad.
yeah, I should have added another thing here, but I'm gonna double up here. Hold on, I'm coming back to it. I just want to move to the next one, and I didn't load the slides. Let's say that. All right, so here's a good one. Khalil Shakir. I think this is a great textbook kind of what we see at the combine is pretty much what we see in real life.
Yeah.
His arm length is 29 inches. I think somebody said it's like the 1 percentile. Like he probably has the shortest arms in the league. Like guys like Isaiah McKenzie have longer arms than Khalil Shakir. That's a good gauge. 9.5 inch hands. And I've got Keon Coleman in here too, by the way. Khalil Shakir's hands are bigger than Keon Coleman's, 9.5. And that's not elite size.
Dang.
9.5's big, but it's not huge. It just shows you Keon's aren't that big.
Right.
5'11", this is 4 point. He's like in the mid tier, a little bit below average for height, but I don't care about that, honestly, in the new NFL. Like being 5'11" and 7/8, like he's 6
Right.
feet.
Yeah.
196. 16 reps on the bench. That's really good for a guy, but he has really short arms, so I'm kind of surprised he didn't do a little bit more, but it is what it is. He's kind of rocked up. I would expect a little bit more. Vertical's not great. Very mediocre. 34.5, but his broad's 10'4", which means he has kind of like outward explosiveness, not up. Like, so he's not going to be able, even with short arms, he's not going to out jump you either to get to the ball, right? This is a problem for him to be on the boundary. When you have boundary receivers, you want him to have a little bit of length, and he doesn't have any, and he doesn't have super, super strong vertical explosion either to win contested catches. Speed is elite, actually. I mean, if you don't know, like I think it shows on tape, but he's a 4.43 40 and a 10-yard split of 1.49. 1.49 is Xavier Worthy fast for 10-yard split.
Yep.
That's really elite. And I think that shows up when he gets the ball in his hands and he has the first 10 yards. He explodes upfield before people can catch him, And then agility is poor, actually. The shuttle and the 3-cone, what do you value more, guys? Like as far as agility goes, I value 3-cone more than I do.
I was going to say 3-cone.
Yeah, I think especially when it comes to running routes, just the dynamics of the movement skills with that, I think play more. He's 7.28. You want to break ultimately for your receiver 7.
Sub-7.
That's the number. 7's the number. Shuttle 4.2 is a pretty good number, I think, for most if you want to stay above average. And he's a 4.21 on the shuttle, which is fine. But his agility grade's poor because of this. And I think a lot of it, we don't see him run a lot of different types of routes on the football field. I think that kind of plays into like what his agility scores are, which is weird because he makes people miss in a phone booth, right? So we would assume his agility is just like this top start is
right.
I don't know. It's weird. It doesn't.
You have his broad jump. You have his broad jump matched with his 10-yard split. When you're looking at screens, that right there, you catch and go, and you find that gap. He finds that gap quicker than most.
Sure.
I think a lot of it is the reason like he can make people miss in a phone booth is like you said. I think he's very quick and explosive, but not super agile, and that's why in the phone booth it's smaller spaces. Those quick agile. The quick and agile explosion that he had, or not agile, but the quick explosion he has allows him to get around those defenders, plus having like the greatest contact balance I've ever seen.
That also
Yep.
helps. Yeah.
All
I mean,
day.
and you think his release package will be a little bit more, I guess it's just nuance is what he needs there ultimately. But I mean, overall, Khalil Shakir's a good athlete. I just think I think he has physical deficiencies that he just can't control, right?
And-
Short arms, short legs. He just doesn't have these things. They are benefits in some respects, right? With the contact balance. Having short legs is great for your center of gravity. He's lower for a 6-foot guy. He's low to the ground like a 5'8" guy, you know?
Chef's contact balance.
For sure.
So that benefits him in some ways as well. So, but this is a good example, I think, how it plays to like show you the player is actually at the combine. What they have him rated as is kind of similar to what we see on the football field every Sunday. You know.
I agree.
All right, so let's go to the next one. Hold on. That's like I said, I should have loaded these, by the way. I don't know why I didn't. So, but I'm pretty quick on this. So, all right, this is Miley's boy. We're going
Daquan
to
Jones.
Greg Rousseau. Daquan Jones.
Get dog shit
I had
Jones
my
out of
notes.
here.
I had my notes. I was gonna have Alex pull up Daquan Jones too.
Y'all break this one down for me because tell me if this kind of relates to like what we see. Like, what would you if you saw a prospect without the name Greg Rousseau in this? Like, what would your thoughts be just based on like what we're seeing from this data?
Well, bench.
Stiff.
You can look at bench. Yeah, you can look at bench at 21. When he's coming from the edge, he's got a hand fight, lock on, and get through. You're seeing physicality come later instead of being able to rip off somebody and go. I can see that. Vertical, I mean, broad's tough when it comes down to edge players and composite explosion.
Yeah.
But because he is 6'6", 266, so you're not going to have a great composite unless you're looking at edges at 6'5", 250.
Yeah.
Miley, what do you think about agility and explosion? It's kind of hard for me to.
I get it. Like he's athletic, but he's stiff, and I think that kind of plays on the way the type of pass rusher is. He's not really bending the corner around you. He's not really like. Yeah, he could kind of beat you off the ball occasionally, but yeah, again, he's someone that's more so going to just compress the pocket and use his size and his length to his advantage. Not really so much a twitchy, bendy, pass rush specialist type of guy. And also like I think his speed is also why he's so good at keeping contained because he can chase quarterbacks down. He stays in good position and he has the speed to be able to chase him down.
To break off.
He can kind of cheat inside a little bit more against running backs and in that read option and to be able to make the play on the running back, but still have the speed to be able to chase the quarterback down. And I think that part of what makes him such a good run defender is he can play both because he has the size to stay inside and the speed to stay outside.
And if you think about it too, like his agility grade, I know that says poor on here, but if we're talking 1 to 10, if you really had to measure, you'd say below average, right? Because he's a 4.11 on the shuttle and a 3.46 on the.
This is an interesting stat.
I've got Keon and Dawkins coming actually.
That's a good point. They did, right?
That's true. They did. Yeah. That's funny.
Measurements though, over 11-inch hands, almost over 34-inch arms. My lord, man.
So that's the thing I'll say about the bench. 21 reps, but he's got 34.5-inch arms basically.
Yeah. Right.
I mean, they don't. I don't think they do the bench based on the arm length. They only use the size of the player to do where they grade out, I believe.
Yeah.
So not most guys don't have 34.5-inch arms. I mean, I guess a few probably do, like Myles Garrett, but most guys are 33 inches ish, and 1 inch is a lot, right? Because your wingspan goes from it gets an extra 2 inches from each arm, and then you're probably a broader player as well. The longer arms you have typically. So you're probably adding 4 to 5 inches total on your actual wingspan in those cases. But yeah, like 21 bench doesn't bother me with his arm length. The vertical, whatever. His arms are so long, he's so tall, it doesn't matter. Broad jump shows some explosion off the ball. I think that translates relatively well. 10-yard split as well. Like he's getting off the ball. I think he gets off the ball fairly fine. He's not a slow get off guy. He just doesn't do anything after that. I feel like he's just kind of does the same thing almost every single time. But yeah, I think that this call kind of plays in pretty well. All right, let's go to the next one. Let's see here. All right, this one's a good one. Hold on. All right, the guy's up for signing next year, Osiris Torrance. So another huge hands, 11.25 inch hands. Like these dudes have, I mean, you don't realize how big 11.25 is. Like they're swallowing your hand whole.
Yeah.
Like you can't actually shake their hand properly. That's how big, that's massive, you know?
Josh Allen's like 10 flat, right?
10.5.
10.5?
Yeah, he's big too. I got him on here as well. Bench 23 reps with 33.8. That's fine. I think that, I mean, you'd like him to be a little stronger at guard, but he's got pretty good, like he's almost 34-inch arms for a guard. That's pretty, I mean, that's tackle.
Oh, yeah, for sure.
You know, you want your tackles threshold, I'd say about 33.5 at a minimum.
Yep.
34 is ideal. You'll see
can work
Dion
with
on here.
33,
Dion Dawkins is 35 plus. So that's a lot of the reason I think he can play the position he does. But 6'5",
because he likes to be on the island.
Yeah, exactly.
He wants to be on an island because he can kind of control.
He can get reach, and he's got, and his athletic agility testing is great. Vertical 23.5. I don't care for a guard at all.
Yeah.
His broad is good. Get off's fine. You know, everything else is kind of good to poor. What are your thoughts on that? As far as I think this translates to what the player I watch on Sundays.
Yeah, that sounds about right because I feel like he's someone who's good against more power rushers, but he can be beat quick off the line by real quick athletic defensive tackles. And I think that kind of is because he's not the greatest athlete. And I think that's where he gets a lot of those like holding calls and just gets beat really quick. But if he doesn't get beat really quick, he does have the functional strength. I think he's pretty strong in his legs and with his size and his arm length and hand length. If he doesn't get quickly beat, he usually holds pretty well and wins.
Yeah.
And that's kind of what you see on film. He either wins or he gets beat right away.
I think it shows he kind of leans into his strengths, right? Like you're saying, like he's got long arms, big hands,
great anchor,
big, heavy guy. He relies on what is good for him, and that makes him a good player. You know, he's never good. If he had shorter arms and a little lighter, he couldn't play at David Edwards' size, probably. You know, like he wouldn't be the same player he is. You know, I just don't think he has the movement skills. All right. All right, next one.
I'll be right back.
Yeah, go for it. Yeah, we'll handle it. All right. So next one's Josh Allen. We were just talking about it. Sorry, it's 10.8, not 10.5. I was wrong on that.
One athletic guy.
Yeah. Arm length 33.25. That's pretty insane for most players, generally speaking, but a quarterback especially. He's got like, you know, tackle arm length. 6'4.7. He's not quite 6'5", but that's fine. 237 is what he weighed in at. He probably plays heavier than that. Vertical 33.5 at his size for a quarterback, excellent. 9'11" for broad, excellent. He's excellent in almost all the areas except for the shuttle, which we talked about this already. The three cone's more important. He's elite at the three cone and bad at the shuttle. That shows up on tape with his movement skills in the open field. And the 10-yard split for him is elite at 159 for a guy his size and quarterback. But his overall speed at 4.75 40 is just okay, you know.
Yeah, and I
think we see that.
I think that's why he's such a good scrambler because most times you're scrambling, it is only like a 8 to 10 yard rush. So him being that quick, he can quickly get around defenders before he eventually
and then when
trucks them or gets tackled or slides or whatever. But most runs are in that range, so I think it matches really well with his in area quickness, and you can kind of see that on the field. He's very quick at getting out of the pocket and making moves, but you don't see a whole lot of him having 40, 50-yard runs, even though he can do it. He has a couple. A lot of times it's him usually having to break a few tackles and make a few guys miss or just it being completely wide open field. He's not like a Lamar who's just going to run past everyone.
And think about it, the guys he has to outrun really at the first 10-yard range is linebackers and D-ends and D-tackles. 159 is going to beat most of those guys in the first 10-yard range. And
if not, he'll just stiff arm him to the ground anyway.
And then he's so big, once he gets to open field, he uses that three-cone agility in the open field, and guys have a hard time taking him down because he is very elusive for his size. I mean, he's a sub-7-second three-cone.
Yeah, it's impressive.
Like, that's like
for 6'5", 237.
If a receiver does that, you're like, that's fine.
Yeah,
you know what I mean? Like,
there's a better three cone than Khalil Shakir.
Yeah. I mean, that's how much agility he has in the open field, and at his size, I mean, no wonder people can't take him down. It is kind of an amalgamation of like elite.
He can literally do anything.
Physical traits.
He can run
you're
you
grabbing,
over.
You're trying to grab jerseys.
Yeah, he can juke you. He can run you over. He can stiff arm you. He can just
Yep.
run right past you.
If they
Doesn't
had
matter. He can do anything.
I mean, if they had an arm strength version section on this, that would be
He'd have a
because
10.
they
Perfect 10.
they never they
Oh, yeah.
only they used to test the speed ball now, right? I saw them doing it a couple years ago at the combine. Like they were actually throwing in a mat trying to get the
Oh,
stamp.
yep.
But they used to not do that from what I remember. I could be wrong, but this is what I remember them saying is like they would take random throws from the day and track the speed on it that they weren't trying to throw it hard.
Yeah.
And Allen still had I think he had the record for the fastest football at the combine.
Oh, yeah, I think I remember that. Yeah.
He
61 or
did. I
62
think it was
or
like
something.
64
Yeah, something
miles
like
an hour.
that.
66. Yeah, he was throwing bombs at the combine though.
Yeah,
That
he
was
was
a
trying.
highlight film
Yeah.
for him.
Yeah. I bet you he could probably get pushed 70 if he really pushed the envelope, you know?
Yeah.
All right. So, especially with the new throwing motion. All right. Next is going to be Deion Dawkins.
Another braces guy.
Yes. Another braces
The snowman.
champion. Let's get it bigger. There we go. All right. So, interesting player in terms of size. He's not even 6'4", even though he's listed 6'5" on your programs, right? He's 6'3" and 7/8. So, and you can tell when he's walking next to guys like Brown and Josh Allen and stuff like that, he's he's definitely shorter. He only weighed at 314 at the combine. I mean,
It's kind of his target weight for this year.
he's got to
320.
get there. I think he's weighed at 340 right now. That's my guess. Just to look at his body makeup, his hands are 9.75, arms are almost 35 inches long, 34 and 6/8. And then 26 reps on the bench with long arms like that. Like that shows hell of a lot of strength. Not to mention he's gained weight. You know what gaining weight really helps
See,
your
that's
bench.
why it's like I don't want to see him drop all the way to 315 because I think he can.
Maybe
No, I don't think he
320.
won't.
325, 320 is. I was
Yeah.
thinking probably 325. I think would probably be his perfect.
Yeah. His vert at the pro day was 28 inches. I'll count that. That's not a variable number like it is with
Right.
stopwatches. When you run at your pro day, most guys have a stopwatch and I got him at 4.4. I got him at 4.6.
Yep.
I got him at 4.45. They have their own that they
You got the same
publicize. Right. So Temple will publicize. He ran off 4.42, and most guys with their stopwatch are like, I got 4.6, I got 4.55. But the guys who weren't there, they may not take that timing for literally. So 40-yard dash though, 5.11. That's elite for a tackle.
Big boy.
179.10. Yeah. His
The short shuttle is hysterical. Like
it's
we know
crazy different.
We know Deion Dawkins well. I bet he just didn't want to do it.
Yeah.
He's like, nah.
His
I don't wanna do that.
but his 3 comes a 9.88 out of 10.
That's what I'm saying.
It doesn't make any sense.
Like the short shuttle's still like 20 yards. So he's
Yeah.
probably like, nah.
It's just back and forth, back and forth, back and forth. I'd much rather run a 3-cone.
Yeah.
3-cone really does show. I'm surprised they even do short shuttles anymore. 3-cone's way more
Agreed.
of a
Agreed.
agility thing. So I would actually give him an elite agility grade, but because that short shuttle, the elite comes down to good.
Right.
Mm-hmm. But yeah, and you can see though in a lot of ways why they thought maybe guard was his position when he first came out. I know he played guard there. He played tackle there.
Yeah.
But they list him as a guard because they thought that would be his position in the NFL. And I think we tried him out there a couple of times and just didn't work out.
Yeah.
Didn't that?
I thought he was a tackle right to start.
I think we did start him as a tackle.
Yeah, but I think we popped him around a little bit when guys got hurt because he wasn't starting right away.
Yeah, I was gonna say.
Yeah. I think you're all right. Yeah. That was a long time ago.
Yeah,
I thought he was.
A long time ago.
Yeah.
Maybe it's possible. It's possible. I could be wrong.
Yeah.
I
thought he was the starting left tackle.
Oh,
And Cordy Glenn was
okay.
starting right tackle.
All right. Keon Coleman.
And then Cordy Glenn would constantly get in.
Is our last one. All right.
The explosion grade drives me insane, to be honest. Like I get like the 4.61 bad 10-yard split. Yeah, I mean, I guess the 10-yard split kind of does not overpowers the broad jump because I would love to see that explosion in that broad jump at the line of scrimmage, but it's a 10-yard split that shows that. It's just he doesn't have it.
Yeah. It's like upward explosion, not outward explosion. But then the broad, like the broad doesn't make sense because you would think that's similar get off. I feel like he didn't.
And it's
I don't
balance.
think he run.
It's explosion and balance. So like at the line of scrimmage, when you hit your first step, you should have balance to be able to absorb contact for a 6'3", 213 wide receiver and be able to run through them or at least run around them without losing balance and having that explosion. And Keon hasn't been able to show it yet.
We got
It's like his
215
running
people watching
technique is
live, by
bad.
the way. Thank you very much. Sorry. Keep going. Keep going. I didn't mean to do
No,
that.
it's
I
like his
saw it.
running-
It went hot. So
Yeah,
just
it's
wanna make
just
sure.
it's like his running technique is bad and just very uncoordinated.
His feet.
Like
You're
he
right.
has the explosion
feet.
there. It's just his footwork with his running is so bad
Yep.
that he just can't implement it to running.
I didn't
Yeah,
see
you're
that
right.
in college as much as I do now as a pro. And
It seemed like he was
in
more
the-
comfortable. And
Yeah,
Well,
when
I
he's running
think also
college, he
part
looked
of that is just
clean.
the corners he's going against too.
Yeah,
He's getting a lot more free
releases.
release. Yeah.
Yeah, that's right.
Good point.
But when he ran at the combine, I remember when because I thought he was going to run like low 4.5s. I was like, he's not fast, but like I thought he's better than that. And when he jumped off the line, I'm like, oh, that's awkward. Like it looked like Josh when he ran his 40, he ran like Mose from Office.
Yeah,
from
with
The
his
Office.
arms just tied in.
There's like arm.
It worked.
Dude, all right. So real quick, this is a Josh Allen when he ran his 40. It looked like Mose running. I honestly think he may have been like, this is a meaningless thing for me. I'm gonna troll them by running like Mose because he's an Office fan. So like, is that possible that he would do that?
It's so possible.
I mean, yeah. I mean,
And then I bet you after he got off the 40 yard, he probably tried to D's nut someone.
yeah, exactly. But
he's a
yeah,
professional. I'm sure he did.
Oh, yeah. Yeah, I know that, but it's Josh.
No, I get it.
But yeah, so he is an interesting, because of that, he ends up being an 8'1" athlete out of 10. Now, also about something I'll point out, 32 and an 1/8 inch arms is fine, but it's not like for his height, weight. That's not like
bad for a receiver. That's not like
it's not
that's
bad.
all
It's
you
fine.
need. That's all you need.
That's all you need. But like if you look at like T. Higgins, guys like that, they have longer arms, and it
Yeah,
shows.
yeah.
I feel like you can see it. You know what I mean? I don't know. That's just my vibe on it. But it's fine. It's not like Khalil Shakir, right? It's
Right.
fine, but it's not like
29.
33 inch plus. Yeah, 29. Yeah. In fact, it shows when Shakir runs. I'm like, I can tell like his arms
For
are
sure.
short. You know,
Yeah.
my daughter thought he was a short guy. She was watching. She's like, how tall is that little guy? Like 5'8". I'm like 6 foot.
I get
he's
it.
built like a
Yeah.
short guy.
Yeah, right.
But he's all torso.
Yeah.
But yeah, with
Which helps
Keon,
with
I think that
his
these are
contact
troubling numbers. I think that he got drafted by us sheerly on watching his gauntlet drill and people, clamoring about it like it was some big deal.
And
Like,
the wide receiver coach
how often
Yeah,
do you
wide
run
receiver
drags for 53 yards across the field?
Right.
It doesn't happen, right?
against the Tennessee Titans.
Yeah, exactly. I mean, it's just not a thing usually, So like, it's not really a translatable skill, just running a straight line all the way across the field and staying on that line. Yeah, it looks like he trusted his hands, but now we see him in the league, and I don't trust his hands. He drops passes all the time that he should be catching.
He doesn't catch through
Yeah.
contact very well.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah. Well, that's something that his tape kind of showed that he was capable of.
Sure.
It's just a transition to the NFL. That's the issue. But I mean, also with the gauntlet, it's about running the straight line too, because obviously you have the red lines on each side for quarterbacks. How balanced can you stay in that straight line in the gauntlet? He did that too. So it's just like, man, I like the gauntlet. You really have to watch it pretty heavily. But yeah, that Keon had a little smoke on that gauntlet.
I think that boosted his stock. Yeah, I think a lot of guys, like, he was in the Polk range for me too. Like, I definitely had in the Polk-ish area, a little bit, maybe slightly behind Leggett, but definitely behind McConkey, Worthy, and some of these other guys that I thought they were just better overall players.
Well, I basically wanted us to draft anyone but Coleman or Worthy. I thought Worthy was also terrible, even after he ran the
opposite
4-2.
player. Yeah,
I was just like, oh, sweet. Now I was actually kind of happy he ran that fast because I'm like, oh, he'll get drafted before the Bills can even think about taking him. Granted, that didn't happen because we actually traded. I'm like, this size. I'm like, unless you're a Devontae Smith level route runner, when has this size ever worked for anyone? And he just is not that.
Yeah.
Like Devontae Smith's an outlier because he is so fluid running routes that he can work through press coverage and work through the slim size. I mean, he won the Heisman for Christ's sake, the wide receiver.
Exactly.
Yeah.
And even then,
Worthy
he's
did
not gonna
nothing
be.
close to that. Yeah, and even then,
Smith will never be a
Devontae
number
Smith's-
one.
He's just going to be a really good number 2 that get
Forever,
you
sure.
a
Which is great.
1,000 to 12. I mean, I love him on our team.
He'd be
I'd
our
take
number
him
one.
over
Fine with
AJ
him to one in
Brown.
our-
I'd take him over AJ Brown as well. The problem is
Yeah.
that he's not available.
It's not going
We're
to
never
happen.
going to let him
Right,
run.
exactly.
Yeah. What do y'all think about, like, this will be the last thing we talk about. What do you think about, like, I know we're 2 weeks away from free agency. What are your thoughts on, how do you think we pursue it? Do you think we go for target receivers in free agency and then draft defense, or do we think we just kind of split it up, or what are your thoughts? Because he likes to fill all the positions before the draft, he says.
I think we trade for a receiver, trade for one receiver, maybe bring back a Brandon Cooks, and then just go heavy on defense. I think wouldn't be surprised if we trade for the receiver prior to free agency, so Bean can kind of just focus on defense a lot in free agency. Like I wouldn't be surprised if at the combine he's heavily pursuing a wide receiver trade, so we can kind of almost get that out of the way and be like, all right, now we can just focus on getting Jim Leonard's guys to fit this defense, and then we'll worry about wide receiver when it comes to the draft again. Kind of almost get it out of the way, because besides that, after we get a wide receiver, offense is out of my mind, because I have gone on record multiple times saying I want Alec Anderson and Van Granger to start. If we can't get McGovern or Edwards on cheap deals, I think that they're both capable. And if we're going to go cheap somewhere, I'm going to go with interior offensive line, because it's one of the least valuable positions, and we've been able to develop an offensive lineman pretty well recently. Granted, a lot of that was Aaron Cromer, but we kept the same assistant offensive line coach. We kept the same offensive coordinator, and we brought over a well-respected offensive line coach from Pittsburgh that had a lot of success there. So I think we still have a lot of good coaches in the building that can continue to develop there. So for me, it's get one receiver through trade or free agency, like a veteran, and then just offense kind of floats your mind and just hammer defense.
I think go ahead, sorry.
I think right now the smoke is trading for a wide receiver. What my personal opinion would be going heavy defense in free agency, because Jim Leonard needs guys that are ready to go into a system instead of drafting a bunch of young guys that needs to take a lot of snaps and then learn how to be in the NFL and then learn Jim Leonard's system as Jim Leonard's first year as a defensive coordinator, also first year calling plays. That's a lot on Jim Leonard's plate if we're going to hammer defense. I think that we should hammer defense in free agency, and I think we should do Casey Concepcion in round 1.
Well, I agree. I think that the smart cap management play is to draft receivers and fill on like outside of edge rusher. It's way cheaper to bring in linebackers and defensive tackles and safeties and corners to fit your system. And you could probably still draft edge player in the draft if we want to do one in round 1 or 2, maybe an R. Mason Thomas, something like that.
I'm okay with that, yeah, for sure.
I'm really starting to like R. Mason.
Yeah,
R. Mason rocks.
He's so explosive.
Or Trotter also in round 2. He'd be a good pickup. Like, that'd be great. So, like, guys like that. But I think the smart cap management play is to draft receivers, because we don't do it enough. So we get cheap, cost-controlled, expensive positions on the roster that we can get that would actually produce. It's really hard to get edge rushers in the second round, but it's really easy to get receivers in the second round that may produce and turn into a 1 or turn into a 2 or whatever. I do think something has to happen in free agency with a receiver. I just don't know if it's going to be a big swing. I think it's more of a cost-controlled, cheaper guy, maybe a level up from a Palmer kind of player, maybe even a trade that way. But I have a hard time thinking that they're going to go and spend money on a trade assets and spend big dollars on an AJ Brown, or I know not Justin. It ain't going to happen with Justin Jefferson. I already know that. DJ Moore even is pretty expensive in a lot of ways. I don't know what he costs next year, though, Alex. You might be able to tell me better on that.
16.5
next year. So that's not bad. That's pretty
and then
good.
There's an out after that, and they can move money around. And
if I could get can I get him for a third? Can I get him for a third?
Yeah, that's kind of, I don't, if they're asking for a second, move on, but I like the third. My thought is to go heavy on defense, but to sign a lot of them to 1-year deals and then draft their replacements, because we need to start getting, when it comes to like guys on rookie contracts, I think we need to start getting more quantity We need to get more guys who can start on rookie contracts. So then we can get established veterans and pay that. Like we can go for more expensive veterans because it's like, all right, we like Philadelphia. They have a lot of just guys on rookie contracts, a lot of starters, so they can go out and splurge on an AJ Brown, splurge on a Saquon Barkley, pay almost their entire offensive line. Granted, they drafted and developed some of these guys, but like they can get some of these stars and they can pay them big money and keep these stars because they have a lot. They have like they're drafting linebacker round 1, or both their safeties are very cheap and stuff like that. And they're just wrote a bunch of defensive linemen and defensive tackles and is super deep there. So even if they lose guys, next man up. And I think we need to start doing that. So yeah, I agree getting veterans that know Jim Leonard's system to make that transition easier. But I'd want them to be a lot of 1-2 year contracts while we draft their replacements in the wings. And then next year we can be like, all right, we drafted all these guys. They have a year of development. Now they can become starters. That's a lot less holes we have to fill because next year's cap looks like it's going to be probably tighter than this year's. Then it looks like it opens up after that. So then next year it's like, all right, we're kind of tighter against the cap. Now we can kind of go, we have less holes we have to fill. All right, we can afford to spend all of our cap on 1 or 2 positions or trade up in the draft and go and get a top end wide receiver or a top end edge rush prospect where we do want cost control there too, because we're like, all right, we have nose tackle now filled, free safeties filled, middle linebackers filled because of the guys we drafted the year before.
So let me ask you this then, because that brings up a good question. Like, if you're worried about the cap next year, then this year is a better opportunity hypothetically than it would be next year. You would think you would go get more veteran defensive players because the defense needs more help this year because the defense needs more help with players.
I think we're in the same boat as this year than next year when it comes to cap. I mean, we're sitting right now at 38 million with 46 rostered. And obviously if we spend whatever amount of money, let's even put it at we're at break even because we're at 38. We spend all the money that we do this year and that rolls into the cap. I understand how that works. So let's say we're at $0, which right now we're at -11 and we're getting through. You still have easy ones in Josh Allen, Christian Benford, Khalil Shakir, and James Cook to restructure to gain about 28 million. And that's not even talking about cuts. So I think we're in the same boat at that area. My pushback to you, Miley, on that is if we're going for Leo Chenal wants a 4-year deal. If you want John Franklin Myers, he wants a 3-year deal. If you want these players, because especially with other teams that have an insane amount of cap, we have to play the negotiating table. So we can't yes, perfect world says 1 to 2 year deals, but that's not how these human beings are thinking.
Okay. Chenal, I'm fine with, yes. But then bring back Shaq Thompson on a 1 year, 10 mil. And maybe have it where his cap is like 6 and a 4 million void next year or something like that. Or like PJ Locke, bring him on a 1 year deal. Just get a veteran there. Or outside linebacker. Maybe we'll see who falls through the cracks if someone's not getting the contract they want. Maybe Bradley Chubb wants a prove-it deal so he can cash in next year. Bring him on a 1 year, $15 million like we did with Joey Bosa. And we also then draft a Jeremiah Trotter or Joseph Josephs or an R. Mason Thomas where they can kind of sit and learn a little bit behind Chubb, and then Chubb has a good year. He goes and cashes in. We collect a comp pick from him. All right, now R. Mason Thomas or whoever slides right into his role. And that's kind of, I'm not saying all of them, but I
get it.
Chenal's kind of like we signed him to a 3-year deal, and he's a starting linebacker for us the next couple of years, especially because we might end up cutting Bernard. But then we get Shaq, but then we draft Jacob Rodriguez, and then maybe we let Shaq walk, maybe we cut Bernard, and then Jacob Rodriguez and Chenal are 2 linebackers, and maybe we have to go another one, or Bernard looks better next year, and we keep him. Those are your 3 linebackers. And now you have one that's a starter on a cost-controlled.
I think that's why it's going to be so interesting, too, because I think that at the end of the day, I can understand, Miley, your point of view.
For sure.
I understand Randall's and mine, obviously. I think that both of them are fine to attempt. I don't think either one's a bad idea, right? Because there is
pivot the way you go.
I could see so many
scenarios.
Really, the only thing that would annoy me is if we trade up in the draft and it's not like into like the teens to go and get an absolute stud. If we're giving up like a 4th round pick to trade up 3 spots to draft someone, no, because after the top 3 wide receivers and Sonny Styles, there's so many guys I like that we could take around 26 that I want to kind of trade out to the early 30s. Granted, it takes 2 to tangle if no one wants to, and we just sit at 26. But if there is someone, then or we even trade back into like 40 something, and then now the second round we look and we see who falls. Like I did a mock draft earlier. I traded all the way back to 43, picked up a mid 3rd and a late 3rd. And then I see our Mason Thomas fell to like 37. I trade back up and get him, something like that. And now I have those 2 extra 3rds and I have 5 picks day 2. Where it's something like that where we trade out and then maybe trade back up if someone we like falls. But there's just so many ways we can go at 26 that I just don't think the value is in drafting there.
You take 26 and Keon Coleman in a 5th and get probably close to the teens somewhere.
Yeah, for sure. If a Tyson falls, I'm all for trading up to 19 or 20 and taking a chance on Tyson. Or Sonny Style falls because of linebacker not being valuable, or Lemon falls because he doesn't run a fast enough 40. I know you guys don't love Lemon, but I do. Or Cardinal Tate doesn't run a fast enough 40, or something happens where one of those 4 guys fall, and we're sitting at 18, and whoever's at 18 is willing to trade back. Yeah, I'm fine with that. But if we're trading up to pick 23 to go and draft like Caden McDonald or Caleb Banks, who I like, or CJ Allen, or even Casey Conception, I'd be like, what that's just a waste of an asset in a draft where we have a lot of holes. And if we want to start being able to spend big on big name guys and not having to continuously kick the can down the road so much, we need more quantity guys on rookie contracts.
I think it depends on who's there too at 26.
It all depends who's there. The draft can go so many different ways. It's just the way I'm envisioning it in my head. I think there's so many pathways to success. I think there's so many guys that I kind of feel are all similar as prospects. They're all like pretty good. It can come in and be, but like there's just not one that really stands out after those 4 guys where I'm fine with trading down and getting more day 2 value, because I think one of these guys I like that's at 26 will be there at 34 or 37 or something like that.
Yeah, I agree. And that's one thing that Buffalo Bills fans need to get, like the national media and what everybody's saying on Twitter and any other social media platform is that they're calling this not a great draft. And it's an above average class. I'm not going to lie. Like, there are good players on there. It's not top heavy. We're not getting, like last year we got spoiled in defensive tackles. There was defensive tackles everywhere available, sort of thing. And this one's got a lot of nose tackles. Yeah, I know. A lot of nose tackles and not a lot of 3-tech. But this class is good. And it's perfect for Buffalo because it is a filler draft. You're going to get somebody in round 4 that will be a good part of your roster. And that's exactly, as you've mentioned, Miley, that's exactly what we need. This draft is a filler, and it's perfect for Buffalo. Safety, linebackers, day 3 corners, day 3 wide receivers, all of it, nose tackles.
Especially since like next year's class kind of looks like the 24 class. And remember how we really wanted to trade up and get BTJ, and there was kind of reports that maybe we kind of were looking, but they wanted more than we were willing to give up. I saw somewhere like we weren't willing to give up the 2nd or whatever, because that was the year we had to purge the roster, so we couldn't really afford to give up a 2nd. If we get this draft as a filler draft next year, maybe we give up our 27 and our 28, and Cam Coleman falls to pick 10 or 12, and we got 2 first-round picks. We go get Cam Coleman, and he is an elite level wide receiver in the first, like, is a rookie for us. And now we have our next guy. We have him on a cost control contract for 5 years, and we can afford to do that because in this year's draft we filled so many holes.
Yeah, I agree.
All right, guys. I'm going to end the show. I
got one last thing for Raz.
Yeah, go for it.
This is one thing we didn't talk about, and then I'll let you guys go.
No, I got time. I just want to make sure we get all of us in here. Go ahead.
Yeah. Safeties. Don't look at Raz on safeties. All safeties is about. is your yeah, well, but he's a nickel and he's really a linebacker, so not a safety. He just plays linebacker.
But he's a safety though.
No, he's a linebacker.
Who?
So it's got
What does it say on the
Emenworry.
depth chart?
Nick Emenworry is a
Oh,
linebacker.
Emenworry, yeah. He plays like he's a dimebacker. Yeah, whatever.
He's
What
a
does
linebacker.
it say on the depth?
It is all we need a free safety, and it is all about the mentals in your free safety. Xavier Watts fell to the 3rd round. He had a 6.99 RAS, pretty decent, but not electric.
That's okay.
Cameron Kitchens, free safety for the Rams, a 2.42 RAS. He fell because of his RAS. That's dumb. Micah Hyde, 4.73 RAS. So don't.
Tamar Hamlin.
Was he
0.42. I don't know it. Yeah, I'm just kidding.
Yeah, probably.
Yeah, but he sucks.
Yeah.
So when we're looking at our free safeties, because I do think that we will draft a free safety, nothing matters when it comes to exactly what their RAS is.
I think that their top end speed has to be over a certain threshold though. Like I don't want my free safety running 4.8. You know what I mean? Like
yeah, I don't need
for sure.
I think sub 4.6.
Like Xavier Watts ran a 4.56.
Yeah, that's fine. That's fine.
All you need.
That's all you need. You don't need to be 4.2. It's like 4.5.
I mean, Jordan Poyer back there.
Even sub 4.65 is probably fine.
Exactly. Because it's all about your mentals. It's all about how you work in open space.
Processing.
These safeties may drop, and there's a lot of really good free safeties out there.
Yeah.
Do not be discouraged by their RAS. Get excited if they're a strong player.
Absolutely. I'll say something real quick before we end the show. We had 200 at one point. 200. It's 268 right now. Watching live. I don't know if that's our record or not. I think we broke 300 one time, but that's really good. An average show doesn't get that many live views. Usually it's 100, maybe 150, but break over 200, we're doing something right. We had 100. I think it was 150 people last week sub to our show on iTunes.
I think
we had downloads. Yeah.
Downloads. Sorry, not
up. Talked to student earlier, and he said, I think he said 160.
160, right? In 1 week.
I think it's up to 160.
So we're getting a little more visibility. If you guys are watching this, I mean, we appreciate it. Thank you. But if you're watching this, please go to YouTube, sub Do Champions. That's DUE Champions Network. Follow us every Monday. We're here at 8 p.m. If we change the time, we let you know. This is kind of our wheelhouse season where we all three of us are pretty plugged in, especially Randall. Randall's really plugged in the draft. He does multiple different networks. He's here for great expertise every single Monday on this stuff. But Miley and myself also, I think we provide a little something too.
You guys are awesome at it.
Yeah, it's just for fun.
Going back and forth for a couple of years, and we all have different opinions. It's perfect.
We're all competent, right? So Randall just does this more proficiently as in a professional level. However, please go on there, subscribe. Please watch this video on YouTube as well. Please hit like. And please subscribe to Do Champions. I think it helps us a lot to get visibility. We're a growing channel. We have really great leadership, and I think that we can, take this more and more levels up. So I just want to say that at the end, since we do have a lot of people watching, I think it's a good time to bring that. If it was a 30-person show, it may not be as worthy of a conversation. But we got a lot of visibility right now. 270 people watching live. So, but we do appreciate that. Please like, share, subscribe, and go Bills.
Go Bills.
No Bills.
For the best Italian food in Western New York, Elliot Apollos, call 716-825-3675. The Lardon Construction Group.
Fubo TV, the official streaming service of Do Champions. FanDuel, the official sportsbook of Do Champions.
For all your summertime needs, beauty pools, as well as kayak pools.
CX Chronicles, your total customer solutions focused manager. W.GG, the official energy drink of Do Champions.
Hey, Sons of Erie, our artwork looks better on your walls. Hamburg Brewing, please visit our tap room on Boston State Road, Hamburg, New York. And finally,
Fat Boy Surf Club for all your surfing needs.